We've gathered 3 hot dog experts to blind taste test every hot dog brand we could get our hands on to see which ones meet their standards. Nathan's Famous Natural Casing Beef Frankfurters.
I like that it takes up the whole bun and then some. I hate when a hot dog is like too short for the bun.
This looks like natural casing, something that makes the difference to me in a hot dog experience.
When those juices and steam relax, it stretches out that casing and it kind of gives it that sort of wrinkly appearance.
So what I'm looking for in a hot dog primarily is that really nice snap when you bite into it. So what's primarily gonna give the hot dog that really nice snap is using a natural casing.
An artificial casing just doesn't do it, or caseless just doesn't do it for me.
I'm looking for a texture that's plump and bouncy within that meat.
And what's gonna give the hot dog that bounce is a really solid emulsification.
You really want a hot dog to be consistent, and as you bite through it, you want a homogeneous look to it.
When you bite into a hot dog, it should be super juicy, and that's gonna be a result of all the fat and the water being emulsified into that meat mixture that's being stuffed into that casing.
By no means should a hot dog be dry.
I'm looking for a hot dog that has a balance of flavors.
The spices are very important. So when hot dogs are made in a more inexpensive manner, the first thing that is subtracted to make something less expensive are the spices.
The balance is just right. You don't want the seasonings to overpower the meat, and you don't want it to be under-seasoned. So that perfect balance is what's gonna make for that incredible flavor of the hot dog.
It's very juicy.
As we can see, this has the bouncy consistency that a hot dog should have.
It's a really good hot dog.
There was no shortcut in spices here. You can taste that garlic, I could taste that smoke. This is exactly what I'm looking for in a hot dog.
I get that initial snap of that casing, which is really telling me that it's a natural casing hot dog.
A natural casing is a sheep intestine generally.
When hot dogs are made in natural casing, they're hung. That's where the smoke is added on, and it needs to be the right amount of time with the right amount of humidity in that room so that I get the snap and not something that's chewy or brittle.
Is it Nathan's?
Boom! Bingo! Look at that. The classic Nathan's hot dog. Coney Island was one of the first places in the United States to actually feature a hot dog. It was brought in by German immigrants. The gentleman, Feldman was his last name, started selling hot dogs for 10 cents a hot dog back in like 1860. One of the employees, this guy named Nathan, started his own hot dog company and became super famous and one of the most recognizable hot dogs on the market that we all know and love today.
No fillers were byproducts. So no fillers is no bulking agents like soy protein or corn flour, and no byproducts is no like offal or mechanically separated meat.
You might know of it as pink slime. It doesn't really sound appealing. It's actually a safe product, but very pasty, but it does help make a hot dog less expensive.
Knowing that you're having a hot dog made with something from a whole muscle meat is a really high indication of a great quality hot dog.
Sabrett Natural Casing Beef Frankfurters.
I mean, this one is a lot plumper. It's glistening.
They're going high hitters right out of the gates. It looks like another natural casing. Color and texture looks very similar to the past hot dog that we just had.
Color's important to me with a hot dog. When you get that nice reddish brown, it's really the smoke and the seasonings that come out. I also find that when the color is lighter, it's not just beef.
Another really great snap on that hot dog. This hot dog's a little bit saltier than the last one.
A little bit more smoke than spice.
It has a good snap and it's very juicy and bouncy and plump.
You can see the emulsion in there. It's just like perfectly smooth meat.
A hot dog sort of differs from a sausage in that it goes a step further in its emulsification.
The process of making a hot dog is to first take meats and to run them through a bowl chopper. What a bowl chopper does is it's essentially a huge commercial sized bowl, and it has these blades that just spin around, and it's taking meat down to very small particles.
There's a lot of friction and that can cause heat. And emulsification is gonna break down at a certain temperature.
One of the most important things is keeping that meat super cold.
If the emulsification is broken, it would feel kind of mushy in your mouth.
Ice water and ice are used to add in to keep the temperature down.
Hot dogs are pre-cooked because if they weren't, it'd be really hard to hold that emulsion in the post-cooking process.
It is possible that this is Sabrett.
Is it Sabrett or Sabrett? Oh.
There we go, 2 for 2.
And it does have a really like beefy flavor, which is nice. I think it was just a little too salty for me.
Oscar Mayer Bun-Length Beef Franks.
The presentation is awesome. It kind of scares me a little bit.
My first impression is I think it maybe doesn't have a casing on it. When it leaves these little like wrinkles and there's no tail on it, generally that means it was stuffed into some kind of cellulose casing that's then peeled off.
When I break it open, I can see right away that it's a fine consistency, it's juicy.
There's no snap.
We have deviated in some capacity.
Kind of across the board, all skinless hot dogs are gonna lack a snap because there's no casing on them.
Its texture is almost falling apart as I bite it. It's not really bouncy, it's not holding together.
Leaving that sort of texture of it being kind of spongy and not a great way is usually when there's additives put into the hot dog.
I'm not loving it.
It has a very, very strong kind of artificial smoke flavor hit me like right out of the gate.
Is it Oscar Mayer?
Oscar Mayer. This makes sense to me.
As I'm going through this ingredient list, sodium phosphate is something that's very often commonly found in commercial produced hot dogs. It's a moisture retaining ingredient. It's gonna keep those hot dogs really plump and really juicy. It's also gonna help with the emulsion factor to it.
Sodium nitrite is gonna be used as a curing agent, and it's gonna help also preserve the color. And nitrites, they can produce a compound called nitrosamines, which are carcinogenic.
And you can see in the order of prominence, it's listed last because it's the smallest ingredient.
It is a really, really tiny amount that you're using.
Not eaten in such great density, it's harmless. The reason why it's allowed in hot dogs is because it kills botulism.
I would say it's safer than botulism. Yeah, for sure.
Applegate, natural uncured beef hot dogs.
Looking to be a skinless hot dog.
This one has like a really gorgeous burnished tan.
I could smell the smoke and garlic through it without even biting into it. When I open it, not much snap.
I'm getting a lot of nutmeg. Nutmeg's kind of coming down through it pretty predominantly.
It's definitely very bouncy. It's like extremely firm. It is juicy. What's keeping the juice in there really is the emulsification. When the myosin in the muscle is broken down in the presence of salt, it creates this like web that's catching all of the fat and water. When you bite into it, you're biting into those little cells that are holding all of the water and the fat.
It's actually very grainy, but this is more of a smoked sausage to me than a hot dog.
Is it Applegate? Applegate. What's amazing about these is that they are using 100% pastured and grass-fed beef, and you can actually really taste that because it has a much stronger beef flavor.
So all beef is grass-fed for about 70% of its life. The last 30% finished off on grain. In this case, finished off on grass. So grass-fed beef takes about 3 or 4 times longer to grow to the same size as something grain-finished, has a larger carbon footprint, and this is going to be uncured.
Just because something's marketed as uncured does not mean that it is incured.
They're using celery powder and cherry powder, which are 2 very acceptable nitrites.
They still act the same way within your body. I've had to talk to the USDA a lot about celery powder. It's like a really hot topic in the cured meat community.
As far as a skinless hot dog goes, this is something I'd probably give to my kids.
Bar S, classic Franks.
Boy, does that hot dog get lost in that bun.
And see that the hot dog is probably a full inch smaller than this traditional hot dog bun. On some hot dog packaging, believe it or not, it's a marketing tool to say same size as the bun.
Wow, it's really soft. It's like bending and pliable.
Right out of the gate, just looking at this to me is a lower quality hot dog.
I don't like that. You see juice? I'm not seeing any juice.
As you can see, it seems dry, pale. There's not much flavor coming from it at all.
Beef fat has a higher melting point, and it also is just like firmer at room temperature, whereas chicken fat and pork fat kind of tend to smear, which can make a softer texture.
And also an indication of a lesser quality hot dog. It kind of feels to me like there's a bunch of things added to this that aren't meat.
They could have put something in it, like cornstarch, that's supposed to stabilize an emulsion, but sometimes can add like a pasty, gritty texture.
All indications so far are that this is a very inexpensive hot dog to me.
Made with chicken, pork. I've never heard of Bar S.
This is made with chicken, pork added to the beef. That is something that would drive the cost down, especially at a time when beef is at an all-time high.
Guess how much that is?
$4.
Nope.
$2.
No.
$1.99.
Apparently this whole package is $1.29.
Hold on, $1.29?
No way. I didn't think you could get anything for $1.29 anymore.
The ingredients are listed in the order of prominence. First ingredients are the chicken, and then water, and then corn syrup, salt, and then pork. And beef doesn't come till fourth or fifth.
It's mechanically separated chicken. So the mechanically separated stuff is where that really bad rap of the lips and assholes is coming from.
The bones are forced through this like high-powered sieve that squashes all of that soft tissue and any meat scraps left over off of the bone. And it makes sort of like this paste. But actually, I mean, I think mechanically separated meat is like kind of cool because it helps with, you know, waste and kind of getting everything you can out of an animal.
Snake River Farms, American Wagyu beef gourmet Frankfurters.
Now that is the right meat to bun ratio.
This is a big dog.
This is probably the thickest hot dog that we've gotten so far today.
Visually, it looks a fancier, like more premium hot dog because it's very plump.
Let's just see, snap for everyone. Pretty good snap. Casing's not falling apart.
There's only two styles of natural casings that are gonna ever be used in making a hot dog. It's either lamb or sheep, which is gonna be that skinnier style hot dog similar to that Nathan's or that Sabrett's that we saw. Or if you're gonna stay within the natural casings and you want a hot dog that's a little bit thicker or wider, the next step up would be into a pork casing.
I'm like kind of scared of this one. I don't know why. Oh, no reason to be scared.
That's moist, good flavor. This is all beef, and all in all, this is a great hot dog.
The texture's got that nice sort of bouncy, juicy, spongy. I'm getting all that seasoning, the garlic, the onion, the paprika, the nutmeg a little bit, faint smoke flavor, but not overwhelming.
It has a funny taste to it. I don't love the flavor, but I can't exactly pinpoint why. It doesn't taste like a traditional hot dog. For a traditional hot dog, it's generally scraps. The thing that gives it the bad reputation is actually the thing that I like the most about hot dogs and sausages.
This is a more marketable, higher price point, all beef hot dog, like something that's marketed as an Angus hot dog or maybe even a Wagyu hot dog.
Like I wanna say it's like Snake River Farms or something. Oh my God, I did it, I got it.
Man, you guys are sparing no expense here.
This is American Wagyu. Wagyu is something that has become very popular in the last 10 years.
Wagyu literally translates to Japanese cow. They have much higher marbling throughout.
In America, we created American Wagyu, which is basically a crossbreed of Japanese Wagyu cattle with a type of cattle in the States like Angus cattle.
Wagyu production is still gonna create scraps that they can't use. So this is a smart way to do it.
I don't believe any of this experience had to do with it being Wagyu beef. These folks have got the spice block down. I think that Snake River Farms did a great job in marketing.
Oscar Mayer, classic Wieners.
The tiny guy, especially after the last one.
Probably like an inch shorter than the bun. The color of it is a little bit more pale.
It's hard to compare the last hot dog to this just because of the size alone.
It also has this like slit down the middle, which usually can happen when you're using a cellulose casing that's peeled off. No snap. Definitely not beef. It's very plump and it's firm. It's not juicy. I do taste a hint of like what tastes like maybe liquid smoke.
There's no balance of flavor here. It's just bland.
Definitely not as undesirable as the S brand that we had earlier, but it's definitely not as good as the Snake River Farms that I just had.
When other types of meat are used in a hot dog besides beef, like poultry, you won't get the bounce or the sponginess that a hot dog is supposed to have.
Traditionally speaking, the Wieners being from Austria were made always with a blend of meats. Whether that makes them a different category of hot dog or not, I think is probably debatable. I think the bigger debate is a hot dog a sandwich or not.
Yeah, it's an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Because wieners are made with chicken, turkey, and pork.
It is 100% tasty. That's what it says. I didn't say it.
And it says mechanically separated chicken, mechanically separated turkey, and pork. You have to list it as mechanically separated. Those claws don't just grab protein. They grab cartilage, they grab some bone. They grab the connective tissue that holds the muscle to the bone.
They're still edible, but they're just not the most desirable cuts.
So lower price point, lower flavor, lower experience, but check off the box of we had hot dogs at our picnic, sure.
Impossible, beef hot dog.
Ooh, look at this weird looking thing.
This definitely looks like an alternative meat hot dog.
I just see snap and juiciness. Yeah, I don't see any casing here.
No snap. No bounce.
This doesn't taste like meat. That was strictly horrible.
No, it's not nice. Oh man, that doesn't taste good.
It is a pasty, it's not spongy at all. When you push down on this, it's not pushing back.
If there is meat in there, there's an equal amount of filler.
It doesn't have the same capability to like utilize scraps and make use of any kind of waste.
So if somebody that has living a meatless diet and they're eating this, they're getting not even close to what the flavor profile, texture, or the enjoyment, the sheer enjoyment of what a hot dog is.
To me, this tastes like impossible.
Impossible!
Meat from plants. Well, how could it be both?
The second ingredient is wheat gluten.
But it's basically just a textural thing that's made from wheat that has a chew and a pull to it. If you really want a hot dog and you don't eat meat, have something else.
Ballpark, 100% beef franks.
It's super soft again, and I can see that slit I was talking about where you can tell it's a peeled cellulose casing.
Looks kind of plump, kind of out of the gates to me. This is like probably a ballpark hot dog, plumps when you cook them. It looks like it could be an all beef or a beef blend.
Right away, what I'm worried about is, again, that pasty, bland look.
But actually has a nice flavor. It's got some juice in there. Not super bouncy. It's definitely not firm.
There is no snap in that hot dog, but it surprises me that it has some kick of flavor. It's deceiving because it looks a little dry, but see when you push it, it is juicy.
I would say this is a balanced and juicy hot dog.
Maybe like a ballpark?
Their ingredient list is quite small. Beef, water, corn syrup, salt, lactates, hydrolyzed beef stock.
Hydrolyzed beef stock is like beef stock that went through hydrolysis.
You have these bones, like you've taken every little piece of meat off of them. What do you now do with the bones? Well, cook them off into stock and then use it as an ingredient.
Basically, it's a process of creating that umami-like rich beefy flavor.
Which I think is why I like the flavor so much.
But yeah, I grew up on these. I think they're great.
Kirkland, beef hot dogs.
Wow, this one has a very nice color to it.
It's a little bit bigger than the bun. It smells very much like a hot dog.
A hot dog, very cylindrical, again, indicative of a non-natural casing. Breaking this in half, stays the right color, like that's the right pink. See how moist that is? See how that color is? That's beautiful.
Pretty good snap.
Really great balanced flavor. This is a really good hot dog.
Altogether, that's a great hot dog.
This is kind of evoking a lot of nostalgia for me of like another similar to that ballpark Frank that we had earlier. The outside texture is really nice. I like the crunch behind it. It's really juicy.
You couldn't make something like this from finely textured beef or mechanically deboned beef.
Pretty up there in terms of like meat beef flavor.
Not my favorite.
I prefer the Nathan's because this one didn't have a casing on it.
Is this a Costco hot dog?
This is a Kirkland Costco hot dog, the holy grail.
Costco makes more money on their subscriptions, their card member carrying services, than they do on the actual markup on the products they sell. And the individual hot dog they sell at the checkout is deliberately sold for a very low price point. It's considered something that's called a loss leader, meaning they lose money on that hot dog, but they do it because sometimes it actually brings people in. Minimalistic packaging. They don't need to say much because Costco's brand recognition is already strong and people already know they love this hot dog.
The co-founder of Costco said, if you raise the effing price on the hot dogs, I will kill you. So figure it out. And they figured it out.
Boar's Head, uncured beef Frankfurters.
I'm a sucker for like the long ones that come out the bun.
You can see the little ends of the natural casing that's on it.
I like it's a regular shape already, so it's not completely cylindrical. This is a sheep casing. There was definitely love put into making this hot dog.
Good snap, good juice.
Firm and spongy.
This hot dog has great flavor. It has great seasonings. I like the garlic. I think it's well balanced.
I really like this one. I think it has a really nice meat-forward flavor. It's got some umami to it. It's got some smoke to it. Definitely not as juicy as the Nathan's one.
This to me tastes like a iconic New York City, like Jewish deli style hot dog.
Oh, duh, yeah, Boar's Head.
I'm not surprised that this is Boar's Head. Boar's Head has been around for a very long time. Looking at the ingredient list, it's really short.
When the ingredient list is smaller, it's usually an indication of a higher quality product. So the price point on Boar's Head is probably going to be more expensive for two reasons. First and foremost, they're probably the most name-recognized brand on the market when it comes to cured meats or deli meats. They are also a vertically integrated company, meaning that every aspect of their ingredient list is produced within their brand. So they're going to be using higher quality ingredients throughout this process to make this premium hot dog.
Hebrew National, beef franks.
This has a really nice color.
Not much snap, but the color and the juiciness is there.
Really juicy hot dog.
When you feel it in the casing, it feels very like bouncy.
The casing is mush. There's not much to it.
When you actually bite into it, it's a little like soft and grainy.
I feel that the flavor is off.
Super, super salt forward. I think the browning on this one actually was like most of the flavor that I was tasting.
So all the hot dogs we've had here today have all been grilled, but that's not the only way you can cook a hot dog, right? You can griddle them, you can steam them, you can boil them, you can put them on a stick and put them over a campfire.
The browning of meat is the Maillard reaction, so that's the reduction of sugars, the increase in flavor. If you boil a hot dog, I remember my mom doing that many times, that casing can get a little tough, a little chewy, and you don't have the real same end product.
Is it Hebrew National?
Is it Hebrew National?
Got Hebrew National. I'm brokenhearted to say that it wasn't my favorite.
Made with 100% kosher beef.
Kosher is a set of dietary laws for Jewish people. They generally use in kosher butchery like only the forequarter of the animal and not the hindquarter.
It's actually less than that because of that half, there are some that don't qualify to be kosher. That all adds to the premium price of Hebrew National.
It's a perfectly good hot dog. It's just very salty.
Trader Joe's uncured beef hot dogs.
This is glistening. Very juicy, very fatty looking.
Not a great snap.
It doesn't really have that sort of bouncy, spongy, firmer texture to it.
Got very good flavor.
I'd say the only strange thing is just from this like skin, there's like some holes that maybe happened during the stuffing process that's leading to like a little bit of slackness and like wrinkliness.
I don't believe that this was dried enough. The casing is sort of watery and falling apart.
This to me might be like a Walmart brand or some sort of like store brand.
Oh, Trader Joe's, not a fan.
I love Trader Joe's. I don't necessarily love your hot dog.
The thing that's interesting about Trader Joe's though is that they like white label things. So like this could very well be made by like Hebrew National.
Ingredients.
We've got all beef, smoke flavor added, which I don't love. No nitrates or nitrites.
Citrus flour, that's another fun thing. It's literally ground up pith and peel from citrus. Citrus flour is very commonly added as a natural preservative in lieu of the sodium diacetate. I love everything Trader Joe's. That's why I'm like shocked that this is Trader Joe's. I've really yet to have anything from Trader Joe's that I haven't just loved.
Oscar Mayer's stuffed cheese hot dogs.
Ooh, this one has cheese in it, I think. I love a cheesy dog. I think a cheesy dog is a beautiful thing.
Much is missing.
Color-wise, does not look like it's made with all beef.
That's cheesy.
No snap.
There's not a ton of juice in here either, but I think this is definitely pork or chicken.
Cheese in hot dogs is typically processed with high temperature melting point cheeses.
To make a cheese stuffed dog, you'll just make a hot dog in the normal way, like get your emulsification.
Once it's emulsified, they'll then whip in tiny cubes of different cheeses.
It has a bouncy texture, but almost like distractingly so.
But I think when whipping it in again, what happens is that emulsified product is now getting another rework, and that's what makes it very bland in texture. It's more like a bologna than it is a hot dog.
It couldn't be Oscar Mayer again, is it?
But our most commonly consumed brand today, Oscar Mayer, who typically does dominate the hot dog market, pasteurized prepared cheddar cheese product. That probably means that it's not real cheese. But is American cheese real cheese?
You can find a better cheese dog on the market.
Applegate organic uncured turkey hot dog.
Here's our next hot dog.
It doesn't have a casing on it, it's peeled.
Not so bad on size, but meat should taste like it smells.
It's giving me a fake meat smell.
If this hot dog tastes like it smells, it's gonna be horrible. No mas, no mas.
I don't like that one.
Very spongy in not a good way. Kind of dry in the same sense again.
I mean, you can see like this emulsification is so tight.
This could be something that's more of like a turkey hot dog maybe, potentially.
I see the spices, but I'm not tasting them. I'm mostly tasting salt and like poultry, I think.
The thing that's a little bit more of a miss is just merely the sort of the texture and the juiciness of it.
I think that this is probably an Applegate product.
Applegate!
Uncured turkey hot dog.
Even for turkey, I like turkey. I wouldn't eat it in this product.
$10 a pack. Applegate is not cheap.
Turkey hot dogs technically maybe a little bit healthier for you because they're gonna be lower in fat and cholesterol than beef.
But a hot dog is, again, there's a lot of sodium, there's a lot of fat, and it's not something that you probably wanna be eating every single day of the week.
Now let's check the ingredients on this.
Oh, so there's baking soda in here.
Instead of using the sodium phosphates, you can use baking soda as a way for moisture retention to make the hot dog be juicier.
But I do like that it's humanely raised. And when you read these type of attributes on a package and you have this little USDA circle down here, you can believe what's on this package.
Now let's see which products our experts like the most and the least.
So for me, my top 2 favorites, first in the natural casing category, is going to be
The Nathan's Coney Island all beef hot dog.
for me, it's just that iconic flavor, that texture, that snap.
Really juicy, really bouncy, just a perfect hot dog.
For skinless hot dogs, I have to go with the Costco brand. It was just so good. Kirkland, they're consistent, big, juicy, really well flavored, that smokiness to it. Just a delicious skinless hot dog. You definitely can't go wrong.
My favorite today was the Snake River hot dog. It had the right spice block, consistency, and the texture was perfect. Most importantly, the meat to bun ratio was perfect. It was a real wide hot dog and it fit that bread perfectly.
There's always gotta be a loser, guys. And as much as I hate to hate, I have to say that first place loser is that Impossible hot dog.
The texture was really difficult and it didn't have any juiciness, fattiness, richness.
It smelled like chemical, it tasted worse.
Who knew there was so much to talk about hot dogs? From whether they're natural casings to skinless, to whether they're made with beef or made with chicken, turkey, and pork, or if they're made with impossible blends.
Hot dogs get a bad rap, but at their core, they're a beautiful thing. They help us utilize scraps and make meat eating more sustainable.
Hot dogs are an American pastime. We share them with our friends. They're easy to make.
I am full hot. There's the sodium overwhelming on my palate right now is like.
Would you like douse you in water?
Well, if I were to go take my blood pressure, they'd probably be like, hey, we gotta get this guy some Lipitor or something.